gentlemen, introducing the pound-for-pound best radio show around the world, it's Leave It in the Ring.
But the real fight fans, I'm talking about if you're tuning in and listening to Leave It in the Ring right now, you're a real fight fan, okay? Because this is what hardcore fight fans do. We all want to talk about boxing consistently. It's a 24-hour thing. It's not a sport to us. It's a lifestyle. I'm speaking as a fight fan. I don't think he deserves it. I don't think he should get it. I think, if anything, it's going to have to take some real longevity time in order for him to get a major payday off of fight fans. But a guy right now that we got on the line that does deserve a shot at a big fight, you know, or does he deserve a shot at a big fight, is Andre Berto. You on the line with this, brother?
Yeah, I'm on the line. What's happening?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
Doing pretty good, my man. Can't complain. Staying busy.
Staying busy. You know, Berto, I got to ask you really, really quick, you know, I saw your Twitter. You're saying, who should I fight next? Well, let me ask you, who do you want to fight next, and does management get in the way of you wanting to fight the person next? When do you, at one point, when you take control and say, you know what, I'm not listening to you guys anymore. You took me this far. It's time for me to get back to the people and what they want to see.
You know what, but the thing is that, you know, just a lot of the fight fans and people that's you know, that's in front of the screen really don't understand. I mean, you know, a lot of us, we really want a lot of these big fights. But there's a lot of other, you know, logistics involved. There's a lot of other, you know, business involved, a lot of other, you know, things that's involved that, you know, cause us not to have these fights right at this point. It's, you know, a lot of times it's not a fighter ducking another fighter or a fighter just running away from a certain type of competition. I mean, there's a lot of other things behind the scenes that goes into making these big fights. And you know, it's not always the fighter's fault at all.
I hear what you're saying, though, Berto, but I'll go back with that question again. I understand all that, the management, you know, and I think, you know, you're right. There's a lot of fight fans that don't understand that there's money behind it, and there's, you know, particular things that have to be aligned correctly in order for something to be pushed forward and to happen. But I'm asking you, in a perfect world in boxing, who does Andre Berto want to fight? And at one point, do you say, you know what, management team, you've done a great, great job, but now I think it's time for me to really honestly give back what is out there for me to be recognized as the best fighter in the world?
Definitely. I mean, you know, in a perfect world, everything would be pretty much like the old days, and everybody will fight everybody. You know, I go in there, I'll fight Shane Mosley. Me and him have a lot of finished business. A lot of people want to see me and Cotto scrap it on. I would love that. You know, a lot of people love to see me and Pacquiao fight. I would love a fight like that. And, you know, guys like a Mayweather and things like that. I mean, in a perfect world, that's what I would love. You know, that's what I would love. I mean, but, you know, but like I said, at the same time, you know, us as fighters, you know, we've learned a lot from our past, you know, counterparts in like a business aspect. And we understand that, you know, every time we step in the ring, you know, it's a risk. I mean, a lot of these people that you're sitting back, you know, watching us, you know, they don't really get to see a lot of the hard work that we put in and a lot of the damage that we take, you know, just going in the ring and just after these fights, you know, a lot of things we have to take care of. But just me, like, I'm a throwback fighter. I just love just going there and just fight anybody, you know. But at the same time, you have to be smart.
Going along that line of questioning, and I heard your response, and I understand it, and I actually, you know, respect your honesty with it. But doesn't it piss you off just a little bit knowing that because the politics and the powers that be, if you really desired to fight, I don't know, say a Paul Williams or Floyd Mayweather specifically, you really necessarily can't because of other interests involved? I mean, doesn't it upset you that you know, you're taking away two of the best fighters for you simply because of the ties that may bind you? Doesn't it upset you to say, you know what, guys, can I just fight the best? Can I just go out there and say, hey, point my finger at this guy, I want to fight this guy, let's make it happen? Doesn't it upset you a little bit personally?
Of course. I mean, you know, of course it is, you know what I mean? it does. Because me just being in my position, I want to be recognized as the best in one of the best divisions in boxing. You know, and if I'm yelling out these guys' names, realistically, sometimes, you know, that pushes them further away. You know.
Yeah.
So the only thing I can do is go in there and just continue to eat. Just go in there, put on these great performances, and knocking these guys out. So they won't have no other choice.
With all the politics, I guess, maybe behind it, does it kind of feel like a hindrance almost that you're fighting maybe 1 or 2 times a year, you know, at the most maybe 2 times a year? Or do you feel that this is now the pacing for you? This is the proper pacing for you? Because I remember when you were active, you were a much more, you know, crisper combo punching fighter, but now it seems, you know, maybe a little stagnation.
Definitely. I mean, you know, at the beginning of your career, I mean, you know, that's for any fighter that has a good team. They really want to get their young fighter active early, but just being in a position of being signed to a big network, you know, with these, you know, huge budgets, you know, they have to cut those budgets up, you know. So as much as you want to go like me, if I can go 5, 6 times a year like I used to, I would love it. But these are a lot bigger fights. These are a lot bigger fights, a lot bigger, you know, stage of a process for a network to build a fight like that up, and a lot more money on the table, you know. So it's not too many, you know, networks out there that can continue putting out, you know, 7-figure, you know, paydays to these fighters on a, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times a year.
This is a bit of a hardball, but I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you. First off, I want you to know that I have my deepest condolences to what happened in Haiti, to your family, and I've asked this question with all due respect. ESPN.com reported that you had been paid, I think, somewhere around $1.2 million step-aside money, essentially, in the Mosley fight. Because of the situation that you were in, is there some sort of compensation for that? Is that true? And two, how hard was it to walk away from a fight with Shane Mosley, which would have basically set you up to become a pay-per-view star?
You know, it definitely wasn't any, you know, side money involved in that situation at all. You know, but, you know, definitely was a tough decision to make. But then again, I know it was a decision that if I wouldn't have took, I wouldn't be able to live with. You know, so you know, so I made the decision. I made the trip over, and it just makes me feel a lot better just as a person. I mean, forget boxing. You know, just in life, just me as a person, me as an individual, and the character that I have, that I've been brought up with. You know, that right there is what settled me. I'm good now. You know, and I know what I did. I did it for a reason. I'm gonna continue, you know, pressing on that issue and continue, you know, trying to bring that awareness to that situation.
Dre, you know, when we were talking a little earlier before you came on, Ernesto was bringing up that back in the past, we saw you teeing off pretty well with a lot of combos. But after with Mickey Rodriguez, we've kind of seen you kind of be a little bit more reserved in your punching. And I'm wondering, since you had that shoulder injury in your last fight, which was known, you know, you had to go to a surgery, was that a nagging injury that was, you know, just kind of hidden away in the past, and it just kind of surfaced now where you couldn't hide it any longer?
No, you know what? Because I just try to take a different approach to a lot of things. I mean, at the beginning of my career, I came out hard. I came out like a fireball, and I just came out extremely aggressive, and you know, it was exciting, but at the same time, I got a lot of criticism for it. You know, just me just being a young fighter and you know, not sitting back and you know, just looking at, you know, my shots, just going there trying to bulldoze over everybody. So after I fought, you know, Mickey Rodriguez, I wanted to take a different approach. I wanted just to show a lot of people that I can sit back and box and think and you know, just do other things. And all my hardcore, you know, fans that have been watching me from the beginning, that turned them off. You know, so I, you know, it kind of was like a you know, I was kind of like in a losing type situation. I mean, all my hardcore fans, they kind of got turned off by that style of me just sitting back or just me just really, really analyzing, taking my time. You know, so I felt that within that time, I was able to show people that I can move around the box. I can take my time, and now now I'm back in that mindset of just going in there and just taking my opponents out.
Now, I don't want to, you know, keep going back with the whole, you know, management and everything else, but, you know, I'm trying to pick your mind and what you're thinking, and otherwise, I see you, you know, like I said, you interact with fans off the Twitter, and I've noticed that you make sure that you're really honestly, you interact with them to keep that fan base strong. My question, though, is, do you feel that, you know what, these particular fights that the in-house are not allowing you to pick a fight with, do you think that it could damage your reputation of being that throwback fighter where the fans could start voicing out like, you know what, Berto, he's a ducker. He's became a Floyd Mayweather. He doesn't want to take particular fights. Are you afraid that stigma could be labeled on you at one point?
No, because, you know, we're getting to a point that a lot of these, what they call the gatekeepers that they've been throwing me in with, I've been running through these guys, so it's not going to, it's not going to be a choice but to throw me in there with the Cottos, like the Pacquiaos and guys like that in due time. I mean, a lot of people, me fail to realize when it comes to boxing, it's realistically you're only as good as your last performance. I mean, you can have a guy like a Shane Mosley that was everybody was pretty much just turned off of him and just saying this, saying that. Him to go in there and destroy a Margarito and become a superstar overnight. I mean, a superstar overnight. So, so that's something that I know and that I understand. So we're going to continue just doing what we do and going at our pace and picking the right opponents, because they can say what they say now, but as soon as I go in there and I fight a Cotto or fight like a Pacquiao and I destroy him, I can be just Mr. Superstar overnight. So,
right.
So when it comes to boxing, I mean, you can't really, I say this to say that, you can't really worry about too much on what the people try to press you to do to a point. But me, I'm a crowd pleaser. I want to try to make sure that the people get all of me, and that's my problem, because I try to, I want to try to get in there as much as possible, fight the people that they want me to fight, this and that. But I have a great team, and they've showed, throughout the years that they've, done a great job with working with the guys, like the Floyd Mayweathers and Jermaine Taylors, that they can do what they do. I just have to be patient, So, I mean,
do you have anything to say to Luis Colazo? Come on, Dre. We had to ask you at least a little bit about Luis, man.
Not too much to say about, like Colazo, but like I said, he had his chance. It was a good fight, but he has a lot to say, but a lot of people don't. Like I said, it goes again. That is behind the scenes, but a lot of people really don't know that I tried my best. My team tried our best to have the rematch right after the fight. But Luis Colazo kind of outbidded himself and just really thought that he's supposed to be getting more money than I was supposed to get for the rematch. So
you can't do that.
So, just dealing with a network like HBO, they weren't having it, and we kept it moving. So he kind of lost his spot, and now he's trying to reach back for it. But we're on to bigger and better things now.
Well, it sounds to me, Dre, he needs your management team on his side.
That's what it sounds like. But hey, man, you snooze, you lose, baby. We got to keep it moving.
I heard that, man. Hey, can you give us real quick a plug on your Haiti fund, so that if listeners want to make some donations to keep helping out what has happened out in Haiti to rebuild what has been put down out there?
Okay, yeah, just continue. Just going on my website, andreberto.com. We got some info there. You can actually just mail in donations, and I'm also just continue just doing a lot of events around the country. I just did a big comedy show out in L.A. for the